Oh, hello there, television and radio audience. Hi.
Are we live?
Yeah, we didn't see you there. What you doing there, bud?
How you doing?
We are the Late Kick Podcast. But if you're here, you already know that, so I don't see the point in saying it. I'm here with Mike Asiffo, David.
Hello, Nicholas.
When you never mind, David Agbaire, and myself. I italicized his name, ladies and gentlemen.
It's always hilarious.
And your dashingly handsome Caucasian host. I am Stefano Hosko, and we are here to preview the fights of the upcoming week. Get into the news a little bit. We got a bad take of the week, and we would like to get into. Story times for Sundays, ladies and gentlemen. If you have questions for the podcast, submit them to thelatekick1@gmail.com or our Instagram page. We're going to be doing an Ask Questions segment later this month. But before anything else, remember, subscribe, like our videos, scroll through every video on your spare time at work, like them. Subscribe to every single place where we can be found, so you can up our numbers. That's Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud. Nobody gives a fuck about SoundCloud. Where can't you find us? You can probably turn on some AM radio from the 40s and we'll be playing off of there. You can attach two tin cans to a string and put your ear to one of them, and the Leg Kick Podcast will be playing. That's how dedicated we are to getting you out to you guys out there, the fans, and we love you. Anyways, guys, how you doing this fine week on this early preview?
Not gonna lie, I'm going through it. Just life it's just real tough right now. But I should be making a joke about that. I'm sorry.
Well, Mike, way to bring down the vibes with that non-joke that you just told right there. That was both not funny and kind of disconcerting. If you want to talk, we're here
Hilarious.
for you. David, anyways, what's going on, David? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I hurt my hand at the gym again today, but I'm
do?
good. I can move it. So
What'd you do?
Okay.
What'd you do this time?
Same thing. I need to work on my right hook form. It's honestly abysmal. It's abysmal. Every time I throw that thing, it just fails on me. I don't know what's going on.
You're Orthodox,
just
right?
Keep it as a right straight.
Yeah. You're Orthodox?
Yeah, but you gotta.
Okay. Can I give you a piece of advice?
No, don't throw it.
I'll give you a piece of advice.
Drill it.
No,
if you
David.
don't drill it, how do you become
as an
good
Orthodox
at it?
fighter, the right hook is maybe the least important punch in your arsenal.
Right hook to the body, Come on, man.
In the clinch.
Jabs in the top, right hook to the body, come on, man.
You can throw that in the clinch and be good about it, but let me tell you something. The right hook out of range, oh boy, you better have some good time.
Not a range. In
the clinch?
In the clinch, or you slip a punch and then throw it when you're up close.
Man, you're a tall, lanky mother fudger. What are you doing throwing? What are you doing throwing right?
Stefano, you sound like my coach
Holland
right now. I don't want to hear it.
Listen, don't throw a right hook. I don't even throw. I'm a southpaw. You will never see me throw a left hook.
Also,
ever.
Though, don't take technical tips from Mike, because he is one of the weirdest fighters I have seen. Not that it's not effective, not that it doesn't work, but guys, if you see Mike, oh my God, he's so weird. He is weird long stance, chin up in the air, throwing these odd flippy kicks, and it's odd, it's awkward, it works, but I wouldn't try and replicate it.
Yeah, someone said it's you fight the exact opposite of your body type.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true.
For real.
By the way, guys,
you fight like you're Anderson Silva, when in reality you're more like Amin El Hassan. Am I saying the right?
Sounds like Al Hassan, you mean?
Who's
Amin Al Hassan?
Amin Al Hassan's
sounds like
the basketball guy.
He sounds like a Syrian dictator.
No, he's a basketball pundit.
After rebel forces took control of Aleppo, Amin Al Hassan beat back the Sunni rebel forces, sponsored
This guy is still doing.
Oh, you're talking about.
I'm not done doing my impression, but thanks.
Sorry, we walked all over you, big guy.
For good reason, man. Like, yeah, let's keep that one
As
buried.
rebel forces were driven out of the capital,
You really want that one out there,
Amin
man?
al-Hassan took
All
control
his
of
impressions.
Aleppo and reestablished rule of the Syrian state.
Anyways, guys.
Any
Those are my things.
acting directors, any casting call producers hiring for accent impersonators, send an email to thelegkick1@gmail.com.
@gmail.com. Yes, exactly.
Stefano, Hosko.
Anyways, guys, thanks for noticing my hair. Anyways, moving on.
It looks pretty bad. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm fucking.
Wait, you got a
look
haircut?
Good. You look good. You look cute. Don't worry.
Can you not see this?
No.
Dude.
Black people don't notice white people haircuts.
Despite the fact
I'm
that
joking,
despite the fact that black people haircuts are like, hey, I got a slightly more faded hair this time, and this time I got a pattern in my hair. Like,
no, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, no, you guys there. You guys.
I looked like a mop before this. Come on.
Yeah, don't worry, you look cute. You look ton up. It's
Honestly,
okay.
Stefano, I'm not a superficial person, so I've just been like paying attention to the words you've been saying and look into your eyes every time you've been speaking to me. So.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm touched.
All right, guys, we're gonna get to some fight news.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Let's go.
First
of all, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but this is not exactly the most newsworthy thing you've heard, but it's freaking hilarious. I don't know. I found a clip online, or it was sent to me by our friend of the podcast, Suleiman. He sent me a clip of, you guys know Joshua Fabia?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that clip where he goes to Matt Serra?
Too.
He's trying to get some respect from Matt Serra, like,
you don't mention my name in public, and I feel really disrespected, and
I'm the big reason behind Diego, and Matt Serra just gives him a classic Italian ear beating, which you've probably heard if you're a part of an Italian family. You're like, yeah, that's an Italian ear beating. Just, hey, buddy, I don't know who the fuck you are, okay? I don't know what you're doing. I don't have any respect for you, okay? Like, Fabia thought he was going to come and be the alpha male in this hot situation. And I don't know. I strongly recommend it. He sat him down. He's like, listen, I am world champion Matt Serra, okay? I knocked out George St. Pierre. You're a charlatan. Sit down. And Fabio laughed with his tail tucked between his legs. It was incredible.
Man, Dean Thomas doing the beginning, he's like, yo, I had to get the camera out.
I'm surprised Matt Serra didn't like grab him and do some like twist him into a pretzel or something like that.
Matt was like, you know what Diego Sanchez fight I did like? Caro Parisian.
That was my favorite part.
Then he's like, you know what fight I didn't like? The Michelle Pereira fight. That was shit. Yes. Thank you. Someone calling the charlatan out. Yeah, is that it? Anything else?
No, the best part, actually, no, my favorite part is at the end, him and Dana White are laughing about the situation in the back. They're like, yes. He's like, yo, so this motherfucker comes up to me.
He's like, he thought he was going to leave. That was him coming for respect. And he left with less respect. Oh, Matt Serra. That's a good old-fashioned Italian ear beating. I'm surprised he didn't, like, I don't know, call him a faccio di cazzo or something. Anyways, so boxing news, we'll lead with that. Apparently, a 2-fight contract has been signed. So basically a guaranteed rematch between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.
Wait, hold on. We finally cover a boxing story on this podcast, and Jeremy's not here. What's going on?
What's up, Jeremy? This could have been you breaking this big. Oh, should I do it in Jeremy's voice?
No, yes, please, God.
No.
I'm actually really excited for this fight. Anthony Joshua hits hard, he's athletic, but I probably have Tyson Fury winning this because he's just a better all-around boxer.
Yo, how old is Tyson Fury? That was not a bad impression, and that sounds like something Jeremy would actually say.
Right?
I'm just gonna no sell it and move on to the serious stuff. How old is Tyson Fury?
How old is he?
He's got to be like.
This is a great fight. I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight boxer we've seen in quite a while. Joshua, 30, you know, damn. 32. Yeah. So by heavyweight standards, that's not old. That's kind of young. What's that?
Why did I think he was older?
Because he's been through such a really long storied career. He had that break for a while where he was like 400 pounds and then came back. Like he's kind of so he's had kind of this long road that you think of him as like this seasoned vet, but which he is, but he's still got something left in the tank, right?
Oh, plenty left in the tank. He's 32, right? And still, looking like not only is he getting better, but he's adapting. Like in that second Deontay Wilder fight, just to pull out what was essentially like a night and day stylistic adaptation from fighting on the back foot with a lot of head movement, and making Deontay Wilder slip and slipping him and making him miss, to fighting that more of that, on the forward foot kind of style, punch and clutch,
feint.
Yeah. So I think this is an interesting fight. I think it's interesting that there's a rematch booked into it, because they're signed for a 2-fight contract. Plenty of money will be made all around. I tend to think of Fury as the more sophisticated boxer, but Joshua looked good in his last fight against Ruiz. He's overcome some adversity. I think he's had fights since then. I'm guilty of not.
Yeah, he had a fight versus I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he looked good against him. The thing is like a lot of people were saying good, but not good enough, right?
Right. I mean, this is a fight big enough to kind of bring us, we're primarily MMA fans, bring our, significant interest, and these are big heavyweight stars that I think kind of draw all combat sports fans to watch. So should be fun.
Yeah, man. Anthony Joshua, half Nigerian. Let's get it.
Anyway, speaking of Nigeria.
Sorry.
Big news. What's that?
Oh, I was going to say, there's also, speaking of the foil of Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is fighting, I believe, Areola soon. I can't remember.
Well, I don't think you could ever win against the round part of the nipple, to be honest with you. But anyway, speaking of Nigerians, on April 24th gets a third title fight. Wow, UFC 261 is stacked. We've got the two that we knew about, Shevchenko versus Andrade and Rose versus Weili, probably setting up for the winner of those fights.
What?
You didn't know that? We announced that.
Shevchenko versus Andrade?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
There's nobody else in that
division. In the division for 2 seconds.
She beat the number one contender. If you can think
of a better contender, I'll wait. But
she
the
beat
thing
the number one contender. What can you do? She beat the number one contender. Oh, Stefano, you're on mute. What happened, big dog?
Wait, hold on. I gotta really quickly look up who she beat.
She beat Caitlin Chikalian, who was the number one contender.
Stop it, man. Stop it.
Chikalian
was coming off a loss.
She wasn't.
Lost to Shevchenko.
No, she wasn't.
David.
But she has a loss to Shevchenko, so she was realistically never gonna get that title shot. And it wasn't like a close fight. So,
David, I'm with. Is Andrade deserving of this shot? Most likely not. She's a fighter that's dangerous, but again, she's been in the division for not very long. Here's what I think the UFC is doing. I most likely think Shevchenko will win this, being the much more sophisticated fighter. I think they're trying to position either Weili or Rose, the winner of that fight, to go up to 25 and challenge Shevchenko. I think that's what they're doing.
A Weili versus Shevchenko fight. I would not see a Rose versus Shevchenko fight. Sorry. I think Rose is outmatched in that one, with all due respect.
Oh God, David, I strongly disagree, and I think
Weili's
got hands full as well. But anyways, this wasn't even. We already talked about these fights before. These weren't even the announcements. The announcement I was going to make. The announcement is that there's a third title fight on that card, April 21st.
Oh yeah.
April 24th, UFC 261. We've got Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman in the. Who the fuck wanted this matchup?
Kamaru Usman. That's who wanted it.
Jorge Masvidal,
And
clearly.
Yeah. So.
Look, it's a matchup. It's a matchup for the brain deads.
Yeah.
Masvidal could in all. What's that?
Have you heard the promo line for it?
What is it?
I wonder what George Masvidal looks like with a full camp. Ooh. No disrespect, Jorge, or disrespect. But I was listening to a Joe Rogan, Leon Edwards podcast, and Leon Edwards nailed it. He's just like, man, I don't see how this fight could go any differently, even with a full camp. Like,
wait, hold on a second. Leon Edwards was on the Joe Rogan Experience?
Yes, he was. I'm
gonna watch
it. It was okay. It was okay. You should watch it.
Look, I think, and even beyond that, there's more deserving fighters. Let's just come out and say it. Like, Leon Edwards, Stephen Thompson's been on a tear. We've got Kobe. We've got. This is
and once again, this is what Leon Edwards says, because they were asking, and maybe we should have talked about this off the pod instead of talking about what's on another pod. But they were saying, why did you take that Hamzat fight, Leon? And Leon was like,
because they said the title shot. They promised him a title shot if he won.
Not just that, but he was like, nobody wanted to fight Chimaev. They asked Kobe, he said no. They asked Jorge, he said no. And then they asked Stephen Thompson, and Stephen Thompson was injured, so he couldn't fight. So that's why
Stephen Thompson had knee injury.
Yeah, is Thompson still injured? So maybe that's why he's not getting the title shot.
Thompson I mean, I don't know. The UFC, I think Thompson and Edwards right now are the most ducked men in that division for sure. But look, I'm not going to lie. It's not such a bad matchup that I'm not going to watch or that I won't be entertained. In all likelihood, we'll be entertained. Masvidal will have his moments on the feet, but more likely than not, Usman, who's made significant improvements and who, wrestling has always been a challenge for Masvidal, probably will see him get ground out again. That's my opinion. You never know. Something crazy could happen. My main beef is not necessarily that Masvidal's not a super talented fighter. It's more that
stylistically, this is a bad matchup.
And he hasn't worked his way up to the title.
Yeah. But do you see this? Okay. I can see a world where Usman, because he's made significant improvements, tries Masvidal on the feet.
No. Maybe for like a little bit, but if he faces any adversity, he's going to go back to his bread and butter, which just so happens to be Masvidal's heel. Like, he's a decent wrestler, but he's not. He's nowhere near the wrestler that Kamaru Usman is, and Kamaru's just going to grind him like he did in the first fight. Just grind him to the mat for the entire 5 rounds, I think.
Now, next piece of news, and I think we're going to have a good solid rage about this. UFC 261 will take place in Florida in front of a full crowd.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Well, guys, America, I say this with all due respect, have fun dealing with COVID for another 3 years.
Hilarious.
You guys earned it. You guys earned the Darwin Award, and you're going to be in this mess for as long as foreseeable future. Idiocy.
Listen, at this point, I'm not surprised. I saw the headline and I said to myself, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised. If you got states where it's like a mandate not required to wear a mask, you're going to have a full capacity stadium. You're going to have a fight in a full capacity stadium. And you know what? He's going to be the first one to do it just to prove that it can be done. And then everybody's going to get sick and they're going to cover it up.
I think they're going to make it mandatory, too, that everybody has to cough into each other's mouths in between fights.
It would be funny if they kept like the COVID protocol where everyone still wears the mask, but it's a full capacity, like the mask for the stare off, but it's a full capacity for the stadium. That'd be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that could be done. Like, put plexiglass in between each individual seat, for God. Do something if you want to if you're that desperate to have a full capacity stadium. But no, we're not only are we going to have our toys, but we're not going to compromise either. I feel like giving governorship to a lot of these states is like, giving a kid full access to their TV with we're going to have our UFC and we're going to watch it. And we don't care if someone gets sick. It's like, I'm going to watch Cartoon Network all night.
Are you going on the tirade against federalism? Or Tyreek for federalism? Is that what you're saying right now?
I suppose so.
We're in a weird, dude. We're in a weird place where common sense has. Well, see, I shouldn't say common sense, but like good sense is kind of lost out, like in a weird way, right? And it's lost out to people who politicize morals. You know?
Yep. Well, now I think we've raged on enough about this for long enough. There's some more big news to talk about here.
Oh, wait, hold on. I just wanted to give my opinion on that. I actually don't feel the same way you guys do. I think, it's fair ball. If the state has, the policy where you can have a full stadium, then the UFC is well within its right to host an event. Do I think it's, in line with the global public health guidelines? No. But we'll see.
But I think,
David, we're not lawyers here discussing what is and isn't within the bounds of the law. We're human beings talking about how much death this is going to cause.
Yeah.
We don't know how much death it's going to cause.
People are going to get sick.
That's the great mystery.
Let's find out. Yeah, let's find out.
I can't wait to find out, David.
Although,
will it be 10,000, 20,000? How many more COVID deaths can we accumulate? Oh, it's wonderful.
Why are we laughing about this? This is terrible. Okay, what I will say though is, I am not gonna be a person who's gonna be like defending Biden. So take this with as the one of the few times he's been on it with the vaccine rollout. So.
Great. That's awesome. Now, Mike, before we get into political, we'll save this for our political talk.
Okay. Let's save this for off the air. No, I'm just saying.
Anyways.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Damn, I'm the one keeping us on track. Fuck. Okay.
No, my point was. Okay,
shut up, Mike. This one's a rumored matchup. Nothing in the works as of yet. Nothing official as of yet, but Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje reportedly in the works.
I like that fight.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like that
too. That's a banger. That is two wrestle bangers going at it. Yeah, that's fun. That is.
I see Gaethje winning though initially.
We take, with all due respect, and I say this with all due respect.
Who are you, fucking Ricky Bobby?
No, I'm just saying. Are we ready to take Justin Gaethje's wrestling card away from him yet? Because we've always said, oh yeah, he's got great wrestling. He's got that in his back pocket. He's got so his wrestling is so good he doesn't even have to rely on his wrestling. All he's got to do is bang. And as you saw with the Khabib fight, not really the case. So
his wrestling's good.
His wrestling's good, but no, David's got a fair point. Is it
elite?
It's elite. No. It make no mistake about it. It's elite, but it seems like it really hasn't been a part of his overall MMA game since World Series of Fighting days. And there's a big difference, if you're practicing that on a daily basis, or it's a central focus of your game like Khabib, or it's something that you have as a trick card in your back pocket. And I think Chandler, I like his chances if he can make Gaethje wrestle, because other people who couldn't take him down, like your Poiriers, who forced him to wrestle as a means of draining his gas tank. I mean, while Gaethje has been fighting a lot more disciplined as of late, not throwing everything at the kitchen sink, it's an interesting question.
Okay, fair enough, but I think more of the question is Justin Gaethje's jiu-jitsu is so bad that if he does get taken down, you need someone who's got good jiu-jitsu to really show him the gears. And the fact of the matter is, if Sapo Santos couldn't do it, if Luis Firmino couldn't do it, right? Who's to say Michael Chandler could, right?
Yeah. Interesting fight. We'll talk more about it when it comes up. We still have a couple more of announcements to make. Number one, Paulo Costa has come down ill, not with COVID, but with the flu, and he's out of his fight with Robert Whittaker. Filling in for him on late notice is Kelvin Gastelum.
Love it a lot.
This was booked in the past. It didn't happen. This is a banger. This is southpaw boxer wrestler with a solid southpaw 1-2 and a pull counter against, your karate blitzer, left high kick specialist Robert Whittaker. It's a fun fight. I can't wait to see it. And then
was originally supposed to be a title fight, if we remember.
Oh yeah, back in the day, way back in the day. Yeah.
No, until Whittaker had to pull out, right?
Because of a hernia. and he was going to fight with the hernia that could have killed him, which is
what an animal.
Yeah, beast.
And then next we have Brock Weaver released from the UFC. If you care,
I care.
I like the story,
I thought he was
man. I thought he was. Well, I don't know. I thought he had a good story. I just felt like there was a skill differential, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
And athletically, maybe he was a little step behind. But it goes to show, and I mean this with all due respect, you might be a great regional fighter, but when you step into the UFC, it's like a different ball game. Because from what I heard, he was pretty good on the regional scene.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that there aren't more very solid Native American fighters up there, and they're a community who I want to see do well, and they have some incredibly tough fighters out there, and some that have made it kind of like Ultimate Fighter level, and a little bit, beyond like Brock Weaver. But, hopefully they have some good talent that comes through, because I'd like to see them in the UFC as well.
Yeah. But you know what, to speak on that point, though, of like the regional versus, making it to the show, we had a Canadian gentleman here who beat Cody Pfister. And then if you guys can remember his name, help me out.
Cody Pfister's name always makes me laugh. He beat Cody Pfister?
Yeah. What was his name? Kyle something. I'm kind of drawing a blank.
Well, Mike, we have the internet.
Yeah, you guys look him up. But he beats Cody Pfister. He gets called up by the UFC, loses 3 straight, and he's gone. And he lost 3 straight in a hurry, right? But in the regional scene, and he was one of ours, Canadian boy.
Kyle Prepelec?
Yeah.
Is he Native American?
No, he's not Native American. But the point is that regional gap, right, between the regional and the show.
Ooh.
Right?
He lost to Nordine, lost to Nordine Taleb and Austin Hubbard. That's lost 2 on the trot. That's tough. Those are 2 tough matchups for anyone.
Yeah. In fairness, the UFC didn't give him any favors, but.
And just related to your point, Michael, and quickly we can move on because I know this is a new section, but it's kind of related what we're all saying in terms of you have these Native American fighters who don't have the opportunities to fight at some of the top gyms in the world, and maybe not have the opportunity to compete and get training for against some of the best athletes. Yeah. So it's kind of part and parcel. I think it's only time. We're eventually going to get a lot of, well, not a lot, but at least
we'll get an influx. Yeah, we'll get an influx.
Sure. Undoubtedly.
For the record, Kyle Propelek, I'm not saying his name. He's not Native American, but the point is like that difference because of what you're getting in the UFC. But yeah, we're going to get an influx of Native Americans.
Because there is a culture of a lot of actually early MMA cards were held on reserves, right?
Yeah.
Like if you guys
indigenous peoples. I don't know if I just realized
I mean, you can call them Native Americans if you're in America. In Canada, we call them First Nation/Indigenous.
Okay.
You know what's funny? Kind of an aside, but I've got a friend of mine who's Native American mixed martial arts fighter, Nakoya Joe Sethi, but he's like, I don't want to be called fucking Native American. I'm an Indian. I'm like, all right, whatever you say, my man.
Honestly,
it's your call.
When you started that statement, I thought you were gonna be like just a classic. You know what? I'm actually 3% Cherokee.
No, not 1/16 Cherokee. So, and anyways, with now that we've tackled race, public policy, COVID, Mike tried to lead us down some rabbit holes on this one, but we got out of the weeds. Shut up, Mike. We got
some anti-vaccine rabbit hole. What are you talking about, Mike?
Mike's over here anti-vax. I don't know something funny. There's actually been now I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
We'll talk off air.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone else, we have a very supple. And not supple. It's not supple at all. But I'll tell you what. It's a good fight card, ladies and gentlemen. It's fun. The first 2, there's some hidden talent. The first 2 fights are absolute bangers any way you slice it. God, I'm excited for this fight. Derek Brunson versus Kevin freaking Holland in our main event here. And if that's not a recipe for a banger, I don't know what it is. 2 weird fighters in their own right, both very complete mixed martial artists. Brunson coming off that fight against Shabazian, where it really looked like he
Look good.
Look good. It seems like he's found his style. He's found his style, and he's found ways to mix in the wrestling, mix in the weird, awkward blitzes, and put it all together in a nice package where he just grinds you out essentially. And I'll talk more about the technical aspects of his game in a second, but that was quite the fight. Kevin Holland, of course, on a tear. You know, was he Fighter of the Year 2020?
Oh, was he?
I don't know, but he may have been. Five fights on the trot, punctuated by the knockout of Jacare. Yeah. Talks a good gang of shit in the octagon, which we always love. And I just want to lead by asking you guys, is Brunson the best fighter with the most obvious technical flaw that you've seen?
No, because Tony Ferguson for a while was like...
Wait, but I just want to do my Derek Brunson impression. You ready? Oh my God, this guy loves extending his chin up in the air.
Francis Ngannou?
Is it what technical error? I guess early in the UFC, Francis Ngannou was crossing his feet when he moved, but he's since stopped that. But Jesus Christ, Derek Brunson's chin is in orbit. It's so high.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, if your name's not Israel Adesanya, it kind of works for him because he just gets out of the way. But it's something you should not be doing.
Yeah, he's not the most hittable guy in the world, but it's such bad practice. But at the same time, this is a guy who's knocked out Machida, taken a couple of rounds off of Yoel Romero. Beat Edmund Shabazian soundly. Let's go down his list of accolades here.
Kind of went toe to toe with Anderson Silva, albeit end of the rope Anderson Silva, but you know.
Yeah, and lately, beat Lorenz Larkin.
Beat did he beat Allen?
I didn't know he lost to Jacare twice. That's interesting.
Yeah. Who did he beat? Allen or no, not Allen.
Dan Kelly, Machida, Elias, Ian Heinich, and most recently
Ian Heinich.
The main reason why I'm so excited for him is I really think that he's put together a style now in his last couple of fights, specifically the Shabazian fight. He switched camps to Sanford MMA away from Greg Jackson's.
Always a good decision. Always
a good decision to leave Greg Jackson's.
That's not what I meant. Go to Sanford.
John Jones, please, if you're listening to this, it's not too late to go seek the help of Joshua Fabia. Anyways,
Larissa Shields as well is training at Jackson Wink.
No, hold on. I wasn't
Shields,
talking about...
It's not too late to go see Joshua Fabia.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, no, I mean, I think Derek Brunson's a good fighter, but and I don't want to be critical of another man's technique too much, but I just feel like perhaps they're just other fighters that I think have a more exciting, more not elites, but just more not complete, but
his
impactful game. I think I think a fighter like Kevin Holland will really give Derek Brunson some problems because his game, in my opinion, is based off as well as solid wrestling, and experience, but also a little bit of explosion and athleticism.
Kevin Holland's got that in spades.
They're both very athletic.
That's what I'm saying. But
I think Holland has a definite speed advantage. I think Holland's speed is blistering. I rewatched the Darren Stewart fight today, and it's shocking. It's shocking how fast he finds the targets and just very small opportunities when you're walking forward. Another thing that I think is going to trouble Brunson is that sidekick that he's been using since his early career. I've been watching him since his pre-UFC days, and man, that sidekick is just it's hell on earth if you're trying to get to.
It's a piston.
And you know what? He's active in clinches too. It's not like Brunson's going to be able to find safe haven in clinches unless he can maybe apply the wrestling to keep Holland off balance. But if the clinch becomes a static position, it's one in which Holland lands elbows quite effectively. He'll even throw those hammer fists to the thigh, and they seem like they hurt. He's one of those guys with long limbs where everything seems to land everything's
oh. He gets really good torque on everything. Before we go on, I just want to ask, have you guys seen the Joe Rogan podcast with Kevin Holland?
Yeah. And,
no, I don't watch Joe
Travis
Rogan
Stewart.
anymore.
Pardon?
I don't watch Joe Rogan anymore.
I watch the MMA ones. I watch the MMA ones. So like
Yeah, no, he's an interesting guy, man. He's an interesting guy, and yeah, he's super athletic, super long for the division, and I think
6'3".
that's gonna give Brunson problems, man. Like,
Dude, yeah, and not just 6'3" on its own. 6'3", he knows how to use his reach quite well.
for sure. And also that's why I want to bring up Joe Rogan. I'm pretty sure he has a wrestling background as well. Like, I'm pretty sure he was like a D1, maybe
D1?
D2
I question that.
I have to go back and look.
I actually think his wrestling is his weakest element. That's why I'm kind of weirded out because
I don't think you're right on that, Dave.
Yeah, I don't think I'm right on that.
I've seen
Actually,
him get
ignore what I
grinded
just
out
said.
by like, because my thing about Kevin Holland was always, until he beat Jacare, was
Yeah, I'm wrong.
you're good against, Darren Stewart and Joaquin Buckley and, other guys. But when it's time to step up, you get a big fight, right? Thiago Santos is the fight that comes to mind. You get a big fight, right? Arnold Allen. It's time to show out. Time to
Thiago Santos was his debut in the UFC, though.
That's a tough
Yeah,
fight, man. Come on. That's a tough fight.
fair
It
enough.
wasn't
But the point
lost, but still was competitive in parts of it, right?
parts, but
And we're talking about a guy who's not even fighting in his division anymore. Like, that was an not undersized, but an oversized Thiago Santos.
They fight at 85. Listen, they
Oh.
both fight at 85. Thiago Santos did his thing. Okay, anyway, the point I'm trying to make is it's time for you to win. And it seems what happens with him is that he gets grinded out when it's time for him to get a big win. And that's why I'm going with Brunson. I think Brunson can grind him.
What performance was he ground out in?
The Santos one and the Arnold Allen one.
Well, Arnold Allen, he was finished, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Is it Brendan Allen?
Sorry.
Yeah, Arnold Allen's
Brendan.
a 145er, Mike.
Yeah, I apologize.
Anyways, sure,
but
he could lean on that wrestling, absolutely. And the thing that interests me about this matchup, though, is that Holland, first of all, black belt under Mark Lehman, one of the old jiu-jitsu greats, who used to train a lot of MMA fighters, dangerous off of his back. Very, very, very good triangle. And as we saw with the Jacare fight, good with strikes off of his back. He's not playing that typical, I'm going to try and wall walk off the fence to get up game. So the ground isn't necessarily a safe haven for Brunson either, especially early on.
Fair enough. No, I see your points. I'm just saying,
I rate Brunson's chances too.
Yeah, I like Brunson's chances only because against Brendan Allen, what did Brendan Allen do? He took him to the ground, right? And got the submission. But I think the thing is with Holland, though, is getting him there without those dangerous weapons that he has is going to be tough. It's not safe, right? And that's what makes this fight interesting.
It's not safe. That's the thing. And in the Shabazian fight, we saw some good new tools from Brunson. He's really learned how to fight like a southpaw, in my opinion. He's kicking well to that open side as a means of entering in instead of just blitzing like in the Adesanya fight where he panicked. He panicked and, oh my God, I have to get to the wrestling immediately because that's where my advantage is. Whereas in the Shabazian fight, no, he took a second, settled down, ate some thunderous body kicks in the process, but waited for his opportunities to shoot under that left hook, pick up a single leg when he needed to, right? Because we're southpaw versus orthodox here. At times straight blitz him to the fence, but work that in as a part of an overall grinding kind of wrestling game where you cycle people through those different stages of the game, right? Yeah, more patience. I tend to, in my view, I don't know. I think Holland times him on the way in, especially.
Yeah, no,
but who knows?
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I think Holland is long. He's on a crazy run right now. I think, Brunson's a good fighter, and he does. He has wins over a lot of good fighters, actually. But usually it's either it's got, I'm not going to repeat my thought about guys and he has an athletic advantage over, and I just don't see it in this one. I think Kevin Holland's one of those fighters who's on that kind of special run where, it's going to take somebody with a really like out there skill set, I think, to stop him. Because we saw what happened when he faced other good fighters like Joaquin Buckley, for example, who's a decent fighter, but man, it just didn't go. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, he spanked. He spanked him. So, I like Brunson's chances. I'm gonna go the opposite way, and not just to go the opposite way. I just really think that Kevin Holland does have a bit of it's not huge, right? And I actually do like Kevin Holland. I think he's exactly what the UFC needs from a PR perspective, but I just see Brunson using his wrestling here. I just really do, right?
Yeah. Kevin Holland talks mad crap, man.
I love it.
Even this whole thing, like he mentioned how he had dildos in the car, and of course all these right wingers don't know what that means, so they went, "Oh, dildos."
What is dildos? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I'm not right wing.
It's a way to say guns, right? Like it's a way to say he's got guns in the car, right?
Does he?
I mean, I don't know if he actually does, but he was like what he's trying to say is he's got guns with extended clips.
That's what.
That is a
dildos?
Thing. I don't
why
know
dildos
why we needed to say that, but that is a thing.
Why dildos of all things?
I don't know, because 21 Savage said it in a song once, and all of a sudden, right. Anyway, so here's me thinking. Yeah, here's me thinking, oh my God, did he just admit to gun possession? And then everyone else was like, haha, dildos. I'm like, no. He admitted to
Well, we don't know if he's legally allowed to carry. We don't know.
Yeah, but he also admitted to like, hey, he might use it on Khamzat Chimaev. So I was like,
he's not going to Khamzat. That's pretty funny.
So,
Anyway, this should be a good fight. Yeah. I'm hyped up. I think Holland's story is also interesting. A lot of the times we see fighters get that big push, but it seems like right from the jump. But he's been in the UFC for like some time, right? So it seems like it's a good story of get a few wins under your belt, build up some momentum, and good things will start happening for you, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So in our co-main, we have the return of someone who many people thought was going to beat Khabib Nurmagomedov because of his wrestling and how he employs it. We've got the great Gregor the Gift Gillespie taking on product of City Kickboxing, Brad Quake Riddell. Boys, opening thoughts.
Good fight. Like, I really like Brad Riddell. He's got solid kickboxing. The only thing I would say, like, so far, man, wars. For some reason, wars. And that's going to catch up to him. He's a really super technical fighter. But, yeah, man, like, that's going to catch up to him. And I don't know. I'd have to go back in his record and see who he's fought. But I'm not sure about his wrestling. I know City Kickboxing have a decent, a questionably decent anti-wrestling kind of reputation.
Problem is he is a banger. He likes to swing for the fences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but wait, Gregor Gillespie?
No, Riddell.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I know his kickboxing is like he's a kickboxer who's transitioned to MMA, so his kickboxing is legit. But it's just with Gregor Gillespie, who has that wrestling background, is he gonna try and trade like he did with Kevin Lee, or is he gonna pretty much shoot for the takedown immediately?
Well, in fairness, the reason why he had to trade with Kevin Lee was Kevin Lee defended 2 takedowns from the jump, right? So all of a sudden,
Kevin Lee can wrestle.
Yeah, and Kevin Lee D1 standout too, like nearly an All-American, like very close. So, I mean, I like Gregor in this matchup. I'm just saying off the jump, just because Gregor seems to have I think more fighters should do what he did. Take time off, right? Clear your head, make sure you're healthy, and then make some adjustments to your game and take your losses in stride, right? And I think if he does that, then his style's going to be the same, and if his style's the same, he's going to win. Like the way he's suffocating with his wrestling.
I tend to favor Gillespie in this matchup. Riddell tends to get taken down quite a bit. If I recall. Yeah, he's going to have to fight a very disciplined fight in order to win, right?
Mhm. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, city kickboxing are very good though at using movement and using like feints to back people up. That's not really Riddell's game though. So,
And yeah, Riddell much more of a banger. I guess the big question is what is Gillespie going to look like coming off of that horrid knockout loss to Kevin Lee, right?
exactly.
Kevin Lee, a very credentialed wrestler in his own right. Yeah, that's the big question.
Mhm.
Okay, I guess that's it for this fight.
Yeah,
Moving
I
on.
mean, there's not really much. It's an unknown. Basically, for me, if it goes to the ground, Gregory Gillespie has the advantage. If it stays on the feet, Brad Riddell has the advantage. Um, I'm just looking at Gregor Gillespie's wrestling credentials, and they are seriously impressive. It's gonna be a long night for Mr. Riddell.
And
Yeah.
then in the Coco main event, we have a fight which should not be in the Coco main event. Cheyenne Buys versus Montserrat Ruiz. Why should it not be in the co-main event? Coco main event? I'll tell you why. Neither of them have fought in the UFC before. UFC,
It
why
could
you
be
do
one of
this?
those Manel Cape things where they're like, this is a super high level person,
No,
and we want to make sure that. Oh, never mind.
no.
I don't think that's a little secret. I don't think that's the case. Mike, are you gonna say it or should I?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Take it.
The UFC's trying to sell that sex appeal.
Yeah.
That's why they kept around fighters like Paige Van Zandt,
Rachel Ostovich.
Rachel Ostovich.
Although I like me some Rachel Ostovich.
Of course you do, Mike. Anyways, the UFC has some questionable marketing and markets female fighters based on their looks. It's not my opinion. It's just a song that I heard somewhere. I don't know where I heard that, but anyways, but yet on the undercard you have prospect and jiu-jitsu ace Leandro Santos. You have Trevin Giles, who's beaten James Krause with incredible knockout power. One of the biggest hitters in the division. You got Roman Dolidze, up-and-coming prospect. Man, Bruno Silva. Why UFC?
JP Buys is like on the undercard. His
wife's on the main card.
Yeah, well, his wife's on the main card. It's just look. I
hey,
doubt it's gonna
that's fair
be
that he should be on the undercard. You know why? He hasn't fought in the UFC yet.
Yeah. But like I will say, in fairness, I'm not completely sure this is the Coco main event, only because the way the websites and the UFC websites, they're not always updated until the day of. So sometimes they'll go on like first from the top of the she shouldn't be on the main card though. I think we're all in agreement. She shouldn't be on the main card. But I don't think it's gonna be Coco main event though. Like I don't I'm not convinced. But I think it does speak, but to Stefano's point, I think it does speak to, as much look, I'm gonna give the UFC a little bit of credit here. I'm gonna give them a little bit of credit. They are probably the best out of all the major sports at marketing their women.
Michael, you said that take for like 2 years now, and that
they are because they are,
and it hasn't been like
Mike.
good.
You're right.
Listen,
You're right. They
mean
are.
It
Mike's correct. They're the best at marketing women, but we like to see women marketed based on talent, not sex appeal.
They have issues though. Right. So
I for example, I know we've talked about it ad nauseum. The whole situation with Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, and then finally our girl Amanda Nunes. Right?
Wait, sorry, what is the whole situation?
Oh, just how the UFC put, through the bank behind Ronda and Miesha because, they're very attractive, conventionally attractive women. And, Amanda Nunes on several occasions had been snubbed and succeeded in spite of the UFC's kind of lackluster push of her, Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not saying they're great. I'm just prefacing by saying this is an issue for a lot of, look, in the NBA, in the WNBA, how much do they market Skylar Diggins because of her looks, right? Think about it. So this is an issue across all major
but
sports.
The difference is in the NBA, like ball fans know like Della Donna and what's her name?
Della Don.
Donna.
Belladonna, yeah.
And
David,
I'm blanking right now. I'm not a WNBA fan, but the point is,
David
those who
knew
are in
who
the
Belladonna
know,
was. That's so funny.
I'm not even barely a basketball fan, but
No, never mind that. She's a porn star. Go on.
Anyway, the point is, I'm done like patting the UFC on the back for doing the bare minimum. They really should do a better job in marketing women fighters as much as male fighters. And there are actually a lot of cards where there aren't even any female fighters at all. Whether that's numbers thing.
I don't know if I'd go that far, David. I would say that they market the female fighters well. I would say they absolutely market them every bit as well as the male fighters. I just think that some of the who they choose to market and the qualities that they try market them based off of sometimes is a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. I don't think they undermarket female fighters at all. I just think that their choice of who and why is it's a little bit odd. It's a little bit odd.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, look, when they want to, like, for example, Weili Zhang, right, was pushed a little fast, but they did it because Weili is one of the few Chinese women in the UFC who can go, right? And is that weird? Yeah, it's kind of weird because you're pushing somebody not based on their talent, but based on what you think their marketing appeal is. But at the same time, it worked.
Right? I just think and once again, I think it's more of a numbers thing. And I do think like eventually, hopefully we move in the right direction. But I just think like there's more marketing for, and I use this term respectfully, middle of the pack fighters, male fighters, than middle of the pack female fighters. You obviously have exceptions like Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes, even like a Rose, like that's an exception, like where you're the champion and you're getting coverage where you're not the champion and getting coverage like the champion, or like a Joanna where you're just so exceptionally good. But usually you got guys like Kevin Lee or Kelvin Gastelum or just like random guys doing like media appearances.
Can I be perfectly honest about that though?
Yeah.
And this is no disrespect to the female athletes out there. A lot of the divisions aren't as deep, just as far as numbers wise, and also talent wise. A lot of them drop off very hard after the top 5. And women's MMA is very young and still attracting a lot of talent. But I mean, name the top 10 in women's 125. Go ahead. I dare you.
Hold on,
I can do it.
Don't pull it up. Don't fucking pull it up, Dave. Don't you pull it up.
I can do it, but the problem is like once you get past a certain name, it's not good, right? And I think that's
that's the issue. Like,
I think that's the issue. It's just my point. My problem though is that like.
It in some cases too, it's because of the overwhelming dominance of some of the champions too. Like
that's my.
I was going to say anyone at 185 during the Anderson Silva era except Anderson Silva, right?
Yeah.
Up until
that's what I was going to say is that like look at if let's say Valentina wasn't there and the girls were given the opportunity to grow, does 125 in an alternate universe without Valentina Shevchenko maybe turn into something? You know what I'm saying? On present day, right? If Amanda Nunes isn't at 145, does it get a chance? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Do you see where I'm going with this a bit? Like,
could be 135 after the Ronda Rousey era had like a bit of a revival, let's say. But yeah. I think the problem is with a lot of the women's divisions is that once you get a big star, it just nukes the division for a generation. It's like men's heavyweight, right? It's like men's heavyweight where a dominant champion will nuke the division, unfortunately, and then it takes a long time to rebuild just because there's not enough natural prospects to kind of build it up. Men's heavyweight up until recently was
barren.
pretty barren. And we were honest about it. We were very honest about it. The talent, not really there. Now it's a little more exciting. Look at after the Ronda Rousey era.
I've always
Women's bantamweight was a bit of an exciting division. You had your Holmes, your Tates, right? Your
Zingano was still a name.
Liz Carmouche, what's her name? Yeah. The wrestler, the one who beat Amanda Nunes.
Zingano.
Zingano, right? Like it was a fun division. Now a lot of these stars have either gone on a long skid a la Zingano, or they're aging a la. What's that?
And then Pena was still before she went crazy. Pena
started beating up guys in bars.
Yeah, Pena was, kind of, sort of like a name. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off. My bad.
No, it's all good. I think that pretty much covers it. I think the most important thing is that Tai Tuivasa's opponent, Dontel Mays, fell out, and he now has an opponent by the name of Hunsucker. So this guy, we can personally blame this guy for the downfall of the Roman Empire. Back when the Huns were, ravaging Rome, he was out sucking them, giving them the confidence they needed with oral sex. And frankly,
oh no, we got it. We got the oral sex part. Yes. I don't ever want to hear about my feminist take when you go into the Roman Empire like at least once every 2 podcasts.
What's wrong with the Roman Empire?
Breakdown. Well, did you know that Genghis Khan actually conquered Mongolia?
Genghis Khan was about 1,000 years after the Roman Empire.
Sorry, I failed history. I'm sorry,
David. That's
I failed.
Wait a second. Did you say 1,000 years after?
After Western Rome fell? Well, I mean, Genghis Khan was like early 1200s, right? And Western Rome fell.
3rd century BC to, okay. 3rd century.
Not 1,000, but like.
Yeah, it's relatively close. Yeah, okay, fine.
After the West fell. Unless you consider Byzantium Rome, which I absolutely do. Anyway.
No, please, tell us more about the Byzantine Empire.
Well, David,
we're not doing this. We are not doing this.
So, I mean, Max Griffin's fighting Kenan Song. Fun enough fight. Then we have 2 Contender Series guys as well on the card. Hunsucker versus Tai Tuivasa. Gonna suck some Huns. Trevin Giles versus Roman Dolidze on the undercard. I'm very excited for that. Grant Dawson, Leandro Santos. All in all, it's a card that hopefully will over-deliver. Yeah. Thoughts, shots, anything else, boys?
No, boy, I really hope I hope Cheyenne Buys really proves us wrong and murders. Like, I really do. Like, I don't want to make it sound like we're crapping all over her, because we're not. We're just being real here, right? Like, let's call it a spade a spade. And also, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say also, I'm real like you're selling me on this Kevin Holland fight. I really want to see what happens.
Me too. So bad take of the week. I have heard a lot in the media, people saying that the UFC is the best promoter of female fighters. And I've heard that. I've actually heard MMA media members say that they're the best promoter of female sports members, sports athletes, right? I've heard this. Can you believe that, David?
I mean, I literally said it like 20 minutes.
I cannot. I can't even fathom a person who would even think of something that idiotic.
That insane. Yeah. Doing the bare minimum, it's not enough. Okay.
So who else does the bare minimum? That's what I'm trying to explain. This is exactly what
I agree with you.
Tennis.
Okay, fair enough. But they do it.
David,
hold on. How many?
That's a good one. That's a good one, David. But we're talking about sports here.
Hilarious. Okay. Just because there's never been a decent Italian tennis player ever doesn't make it not a sport.
Yeah, there's also never been I don't know, name another irrelevant sport. There's probably never been a decent Italian badminton player too.
Right. Hold on. I will say though, with tennis too, they do the exact same thing. How many SI swimsuits did I see of Serena back in the early 2000s and Sharapova? So yeah. Like,
I think okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't be marketed on sex appeal, because if you got it, flaunt it, use it. If you want to market your sex, you market your sex. That's yours to do whatever the hell you want. I just don't think that the UFC should be giving favorable opportunities based on sex appeal. If a beautiful fighter, male or female, happens to succeed,
Yeah, but
more
now
power
we're
to
getting
them.
into that gray area, and this is getting a really long and boring conversation because we're repeating our points. But think about it this way: the Conor McGregors and the Kevin Hollands, the same way we're saying that we like that trash talk, we like that cocky, brash. Even Colby Covington, we like that extracurricular stuff.
People like Colby
That,
Covington?
pardon?
Someone likes Colby Covington?
No, but I'm saying like that leads to opportunities. Like, you know what I mean? You get where I'm coming from? Like it's all if it's fair to use, trash talk as a guy, and let's not kid ourselves. A lot of guys do use sex appeal somewhat. I mean,
guys use sex appeal?
I mean,
yeah, until they realize they're marketing to like other guys. But even like
David,
Paulo
remember
Costa,
the
you can't
ESPN
say. Pardon?
Remember the ESPN body issue where like guys were literally naked on the front
Yes.
cover?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but is
and
that
like
for sex appeal? For the men?
Well, body positivity.
John Jones and Conor McGregor both did it.
right. I mean,
I don't know.
But so did Ronda and Misha.
yeah. Well, what I will say though is, there's a lot of people who buy it not for the reasons that ESPN puts it out for. Right. That's all I'm saying.
I refuse to believe that people are not buying it for the most high-minded and non-masturbatory reasons.
Yeah, I can only see it being bought for body positivity. But anyway, my point is that like just as male fighters use things outside of the cage to get opportunities in the UFC, and we sometimes don't agree with it, women probably do the same. And this is the result.
I don't fault the women for doing it. I just, I think the UFC could do a better job of marketing the non-conventionally attractive female fighters.
And not rewarding someone based on just being attractive. It would be nice to have some skills too, because at the end of the day, this is a competition of skill.
Yeah.
So is that it? We done for the day?
Yeah, let's go.
We done. Wait, that was your actual bad take?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Muchachos.
No. Which I agree with, by the way. I agree with. It's just there's some nuance and caveats to it. Yeah. All right.
Muchachos.
Do the thing.
Like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends. Tell them about it. And, we are the Leg Thick podcast. We have very thick legs, and we're coming out bringing you the best and most sensuous and progressive takes in sports. All we ask, oh my God, Mike. Ooh.
Put it away. That's a weapon. Put it away.
So all we ask is that you subscribe, empty your bank account, and send it over to us in an e-transfer. That's about it.
We'll take a money wire. I said we'll take a money wire as well.
Money wire. Please wire me $300.
Like it's the 80s.
I knew you can't go there.
Send it to what's that place?
Yeah.
Western
You know what? We also accept pigeons, so
Yeah,
take out your 8x11 Manila envelope. Put your your legal tender in there and send it along with a barn owl.
Yeah, you get your best carrier pigeon and send it over.
So, in this crazy mixed up world where Harry is sucking Huns and trying to bring down the Roman Empire, you got three things. You got the UFC's non-sexist, pro-feminine.
Uh-oh. Well, he got cut off for a reason.
That was self-censorship. I like it.
Yeah. All right.
Finally.
In this crazy mixed up world.
To play us out, what does that mean?
In this, fuck it, we'll do it live. No, in this crazy mixed up world where the Coco main event is two people who's never fought in the UFC before. Good job, UFC. Just remember, you got three things. You got life, you got family, and a full capacity crowd for UFC 261. God bless our souls, everybody. Man, God help us all.